Old gods in new robes, and none of it was ever hidden. It's carved onto the front of half of the cathedrals in Europe. The problem here is that most people just don't notice it.
So you guys lost the plane.
Hey man, you're detained.
I'm detained? For asking where a plane went, I'm being detained? I just got detained at the crash site of a $100 million F-35 jet that a U.S. Marine pilot ejected himself out of, lost the plane, and within 24 hours, a crash site was identified 80 miles north of Charlotte, South Carolina. You know about the F-35?
Oh, I know it went down. It was over towards Florence.
Hit the ground and shook the whole bow.
It's at Bartell's Crossroads.
And you'll see the law in everywhere.
Here it is, right here. Right. We're looking for a missing F-35. You know where I can find it?
Well, here comes the military, so you can ask them.
How y'all doing, gentlemen?
We represent Marine Corps.
Okay, so you guys lost the plane.
That is classified at this time. What's your name?
My name's Tyler.
All right, Tyler, I'm gonna keep you here, and I'm gonna have some guys come talk to you.
For what? What is that? How is that even legal?
We're just gonna hold you right here for right now.
You're gonna hold me? Physically or spiritually or emotionally?
I'm telling you that we're holding you.
For asking questions?
Hey man, you're detained.
I'm detained?
If I can, just have you lift your shirt for me real quick. All right, now turn around for me. Turn.
This is a humiliation ritual? Tap here to watch the full video.
So some bloke asks where the missing jet went and gets pinned to a roadblock for asking. The real story isn't actually about the missing jet, is it?
This is what different speeds look like, and it's going to get progressively faster. Though a professional athlete is about twice as fast as the average person, with Usain Bolt topping out at 28 miles per hour, about the same speed as a bike. This is insane, but the first airplane created by the Wright brothers was only slightly faster than Usain Bolt. Even crazier, though, is that a cheetah is about 2.5 times faster than the first airplane, reaching top speeds of 80 miles per hour. Neither of these, of course, coming close to modern sports cars or helicopters. Here you're going to see the fastest helicopter, which all pales in comparison to the fastest sea vehicle. And then, of course, the fastest car at about 330 miles per hour. The L0 maglev train in Japan can get you from Tokyo to Osaka in about an hour, which again isn't nearly as fast as a commercial plane, which continues to be the fastest method of travel for people, or the speed of sound.
Well, a cheetah outrunning the first aeroplane is the sort of fact I'll happily take with no agenda or hidden meaning attached, if I'm being honest with you. I find geoglyphs widely interesting, but most of them we can attribute to modern humans, sadly, but the ones we can't, that's the real stuff worth thinking about. Hello and welcome to another episode. If you're new here, my name is NEXOR. My job is to take you down the rabbit hole, and it's not to find the bomb, it's to find basically the big red thread, which kind of extends out all over the place into the different burrows, but we're just looking to find that one, pull it out and practice our discernment along the way, because there's just not enough time to do all of them in one episode. But with that being said, what you've seen so far was just a preview of what's to come, so stick around if you're enjoying it. And I'm going to ask you right now, just hit sub, get it out of the way. It is really helping the channel move forwards, because there's been a period of I don't know how to say it. It's been tough, okay? But you guys being there and sort of actively engaging with it in that way shows the platform that we win and they don't. That's the best way I can put it. And we're looking to hit 200,000 subs by September, so I would really appreciate it if you do that right now for me. Yeah, like every person who's watching, you guys which return every episode but don't subscribe, if you were all to do it right now, we'd probably be at about 250,000 subs. So that's all I'll ask for, but let's crack on.
This is Zam Zam water. We are going to look at it under the microscope. I've had a lot of requests for this water. According to Islamic and other religious narrative, the water is sourced from a miracle well, known as the Zam Zam well. The bits of microplastic that you see here are from my contamination. The water itself appears to be really clean, but I know this water has dissolved minerals, so I dried a drop on a glass plate. Have a look at this. The water has a high mineral concentration, particularly sodium, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. Because of this, it has widely reported health benefits, including the quenching of thirst, reduction of fatigue, and provision of strength. But that's all I've read about it so far. I would love to know more about this water, so feel free to comment below just some facts or what you know about Zam Zam water.
This guy is either getting paid or he's one of the lucky ones who genuinely get fresh tap water. I won't tell you where I sit on that one.
So I'm supposed to get this death certificates in a ring.
I don't have the death certificates yet. And I'm afraid the ring might have been cremated.
That is a rough one. A ring cremated with a family member, and sadly, there's no getting it back now. It's either warped and melted or lost in the ashes, maybe.
You are the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast 666 has 3 sixes. A cube has 6 sides, and you are in a cube. You can move up, down, left, right, forwards, and backwards. The cube is the shape of the 3D reality. You are not the cube or the 3D reality body. You are the soul awareness living inside the mind, commanding the mind and the mind commanding the body. The soul or the awareness living in your mind expresses energy and creates reality through 3 ways, the eye and the triangle, through thinking, feeling, and acting. That's why 666 is 1, 2, 3. 3 is the number of how the soul expresses energy. Mark of the beast is when you become an animal. Your soul only thinks, feels, and acts all towards the physical flesh and the desires and pleasures of the flesh, leaving no room to true spiritual connection inside your consciousness. You only think, feel, and act towards the cube, the physical reality, and you become the beast.
Old ideas dressed up as scary, that is it.
Chernobyl was far more disturbing than you were told, and was so deadly that it still kills to this day. But how is this possible? It all began during a night shift in Chernobyl 1986, ironically performing a safety test. But during the procedure, they made a deadly mistake, accidentally lowering the reactor's power to a dangerously low level, not realizing a gas called xenon had been silently building up before, choking the reactor. To fix this, the workers tried to bring up the power by pulling out the safety rods, but this only made it worse. The power spiked so unbelievably fast you wouldn't be able to read the numbers on the gauge, quickly slamming down the emergency button hoping to fix it, when suddenly, one of the most violent explosions in power plant history, so strong it blasted a 1,000-ton lid into the air and blew the entire reactor wide open. Radioactive material 400 times stronger than Hiroshima was now spreading through the sky, literally turning the air blue. Chernobyl workers, firefighters, and even rescue crews were unknowingly being exposed to deadly radiation as they tried helping. But it gets worse. Radioactive dust continued to spread into the nearby town of Pripyat and was completely invisible. The next day, people started tasting metal in the air, eyes were burning, felt nauseous, and had bright red skin, living in this radiation for nearly 2 full days before they were evacuated. But it was already too late. 134 of the first people on site fell victim to radiation poison in just days. And over the span of decades, long-term radiation effects continued taking out thousands of more people, leading to a total loss of around 4,000 lives.
Chernobyl, taught with cartoon meme faces, is a genuinely mad way to cover one of the worst nights of the century, or the last century rather. Telling the story of 4,000 dead with a wobbly-eyed avatar pretty much sums up where we are as a society, I think. You can turn anything tragic into entertainment now, can't we? It's just... Where are we going, guys? A massive thank you to every person you see on screen here because they personally finance what I do. I've never asked them to do it. I just made the option available and they went ahead and did it. You know, that whole saying like taking a horse to water. Well, this horse drank and it's drank a lot. There's nearly 200 of you and I cannot thank you enough. Again, I've never asked anyone to do it, but if you're interested in joining, the link is down below. Otherwise, let's crack on with the rest of this episode.
So in the Boxtown neighborhood of Memphis, Tennessee, Elon Musk has built Colossus, which is a massive data center with the primary objective of training Grok. Colossus is located right next to Memphis's water recycling facility in the Mississippi River, which is not a coincidence because it's estimated to use up to 5 million gallons of water per day. The power grid in Memphis was never designed to support anything like this or a data center this big. So what does the richest person in the world do when a major city can't supply enough power to their AI system that generates edgy jokes and child abuse material? This is some 2026 trivia for you. Well, I flew a drone over the facility earlier this week so you and some regulators could see, and if you guessed methane gas turbines, congratulations. And just a few hours before recording this, the EPA confirmed that using methane turbines to power data centers is in fact illegal and violates the Clean Air Act. If you're wondering why they're illegal, it's because they emit heaping amounts of nitrogen oxide into the air, which is well known to cause cancer and asthma. And it's quite the coincidence that the nearby community of Boxtown has drastically higher asthma rates and cancer risk that is 4 times higher than what the EPA deems acceptable. So I guess now the question is, will anybody be arrested for this or even fined for it? Or will they even be forced to stop doing it? And if not, what are you going to do about it?
5 million gallons a day poured from a river just to teach a machine how to make small talk, and the turbines burning all that power off parked right next to houses already fighting for every single breath. Funny how whoever owns the machine never seems to live downwind, isn't it?
It's illegal to say you're a federal officer when you're not.
So now you call me a liar? See the picture there? That's me.
You're going to go under arrest here in a very...
Not.
Yeah, I am.
Unless you don't want your job. I think I'm stupid? I'm also a lawyer as well.
Really?
Yes, I am.
Stand right here. You're being detained.
I'm under arrest. No, I'm not being detained. Yes, I am a lawyer. Okay, arrest me then.
Yeah, I want to see your badge.
No. You will not see my badge. Arrest me first so I can get you a false arrest.
Turn around, place your hands on your back. No. So you do realize that saying that you're a federal officer...
I am a federal officer. This is not the end of the conversation. You're going to hear about this.
Okay, that's good.
You're going to hear about it.
That's good.
Dispatch just said they found, I think, something of him. Doctor of law.
Oh, your car.
You're not getting it. Get out of here.
I need a follow-up on that one, but I think you can literally watch any clip of an officer making a false arrest and pretty much get the idea of what happens. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happens to the officers.
This is what's happening underneath your skin when a honeybee is stinging you. To get this up-close slow-motion shot of a bee stinger in action, I spent about 4 hours filming in a bee lab down the road at NC State University. One of the reasons why it's hard to capture something like this is how small everything is. Here's the tip of a sharpened pencil, which is about 1/3 of a millimeter wide, and here are the components of the honeybee stinger at scale. These parts, the lancets, are the barbed parts that get stuck in your skin. The 3-component system comes together to form a hollow tube. What this shot shows is that to deliver the venom, the barbed lancet components are pumped back and forth like pistons, extending beyond the end of the stinger. This is the same movement I saw when I captured ant stingers in action. And this makes sense, because the stingers of both ants and bees are derived from a wasp-like ovipositor.
I didn't know something so painful and irritating could be so beautiful to watch.
I know you belong inside you, but tonight you belong to me.
I know what some people say. This is proof that these chatbots are sentient or alive in some way, but they couldn't be more wrong. Anyone who actually knows how these things are trained and put together will agree with me, or should do anyway. Thunder through the firmament, says the caption, and the researcher's face fills in the rest. I couldn't tell you what that flash actually is, but I know what it's not.
When a crow dies, other crows don't just leave. They hold a funeral, but they're not mourning. They're doing something much more disturbing. Crows are one of the smartest animals on the planet, capable of recognizing a face, even years after seeing it just once. Scientists decided to test this, sending volunteers wearing masks to stand near dead crows. The crows weren't grieving. They were studying the scene, memorizing the face. For 6 weeks, every time that person came back, the crows attacked. When scientists scanned their brains, the part that lit up wasn't the fear sensor, it was the decision-making sensor. They weren't scared, they were calculating. The crows even told their friends, passing it down for years. Crows who never even saw the masked person started attacking them too. A group of crows is called a murder, and now you know why. Like and follow so we can keep making videos like this.
I wouldn't fancy being on a crow's list, would you? I do find corvid, especially crows, to be really fascinating. They happen to be in my top 3 birds of all time.
They're saying that I posted something about disposing of so many beagles.
Yes. Agreed remedies would be to complete an online thinking skills course.
This animal rights activist was visited by the police, who demanded she take an online thinking skills course or face investigation. Annika Svenska exposed animal abuse at a large company. She was told it could be a crime under the Online Safety Act because the company claimed she was spreading false information on the internet, but she was speaking the truth. She told us the information came from 2 sources, a whistleblower and a leaked document that showed hundreds of kilograms of beagle remains removed and incinerated. But the police didn't even investigate the complaint properly when they turned up at her doorstep.
They're stating the information is incorrect. Okay, that's what we're going off of at the moment.
We warned these powers would go too far, and now they have. Even George Orwell could not have imagined the truth would one day be treated as a thought crime. The Online Safety Act is a censor's charter. It is not fit for purpose, and it must be scrapped.
So you leaked that a firm is incinerating beagles by the 100 and the police turn up to sign you onto a thinking skills course. Not the company, you, a thinking skills course. You don't need to be that far down the rabbit hole to hear that sounds exactly what it means. It gives thought policing a new light, doesn't it?
What kind of woman looks at a man who annihilated his entire family and is like, oh, he's the one? Because if you haven't heard, Chris Watts is getting married. That's right, that Chris Watts. Chris Watts, who 8 years ago on August 13th ended his entire family, his pregnant wife, their unborn child, and both of their daughters, who were ages 4 and 3 years old. Now it looks like he's marrying this woman, 39-year-old realtor from Cleveland, Lizzie Henderson, who is now going by Lizzie Watts. This woman has visited Chris Watts 23 times in the last 15 months, moving from Ohio to Wisconsin so that she could be closer to the correctional facility he is spending the rest of his life in. They have now decided to take their relationship one step farther and get married. So exactly what kind of person looks at a man who has killed everyone that loved him, his children, his wife, is like, that's who I want to marry? The fact that this news is breaking as the 8-year anniversary comes up of this man completely ending his family at his own hands and is now trying to start a new one.
A man wipes out his whole family, his wife, his little girls and unborn baby, and a stranger reads about it and thinks, that's the one for me. I really do have no words that are YouTube friendly for this one.
This is straight up terrifying. During an earthquake, in my opinion, this would be one of the last places I would want to be. This TikTok video that I got tagged in recently went super viral. It shows a group of people inside of a gondola in Colombia, and they're panicking, rightfully so, because they're in the middle of an earthquake. Now, Colombia very recently was just struck with a large magnitude 7.4 earthquake. Right here, we can see the epicenter quite a ways into the country. Sadly, many of the structures in and around the epicenter were not structurally sound enough to deal with earthquakes. Engineering-wise, it wasn't designed for that. So dozens of buildings collapsed, thousands have sustained damage. There are many people that are missing that are still being looked for, and as of now, the death toll is above 250. As time goes on, missing people are less and less likely to be alive if they're buried in rubble. People in the gondola did fortunately end up surviving, though they were stuck for quite some time. It's terrifying what's going on there right now. A lot of people are displaced. My condolences and my heart goes out to all the victims.
Awful, all of it. 250 gone and still climbing, with families clawing through the concrete for the people they love. The gondola lot got out in the end, which is a small mercy in a very, very big mess. Blimey, a man cannot open a door, and that is the entire clip. There is a special place on Reddit for this mentality, and it's called r/entitled people.
But like, the cast and I used to laugh about it. Like, wow, this is an insane shoot for it to really not be acknowledged. And then I can't stand to watch myself.
Any fans of Jenna Ortega are questioning her transformation and wondering if she is just another victim of the system that runs deeply, hypothetically, through Hollywood. Must just be a giant coincidence that around the time she took the Wednesday Addams role, everything began to change and her career as well began to skyrocket. Another giant coincidence, I'm sure, is around the same time that all of this unfolded, pictures of Jenna Ortega, like the one behind me, surfaced on the internet. Just totally a normal picture. Last but not least, we have her in the Wednesday Addams outfit, literally doing the same pose. But again, I'm sure it's just artistic freedom, creativity, you know? It's to be provocative. There's no deeper, darker, hidden meaning behind all this, right? It would be different if so many celebrities didn't go down the same exact path on their way to extreme fame and stardom. But these celebrity transformations are shocking to say the very least. Comment below with your thoughts. Let me know. Am I onto something or am I tripping this time? What do you think? Wake up.
We've all seen this exact video by now, just with a different celebrity swapped in. Woman gets famous, woman looks different, so obviously a shadowy machine must own her, or she grew up on camera, likely got a few mental health issues and is told what to say, where and do, just like everyone in that space.
Something is happening tomorrow in space that hasn't happened in over 5,000 years of recorded history. So obviously we know that all of the planets in our solar system orbit the sun at different speeds, which is why sometimes we see them in the night sky and sometimes we don't. But on very rare occasions, the planets' orbits can line up, causing what we call a parade of planets down here on Earth. And tomorrow, just before dawn, Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune will all be lined up in the sky, with the first 4 being visible to the naked eye. Later in the afternoon, if you live in this zone, you will witness a total solar eclipse lasting for over 2 minutes, which has never before happened on the same day as the Perseid meteor shower, which will peak tomorrow night with up to 75 shooting stars per hour. And because it is a new moon, which is giving us the eclipse, there won't be any moonlight washing out the meteors.
I watched it, both actually, and I only featured this clip as a reminder to everyone that these two events aligning the way that they did, when they did, is mathematically considered almost impossible.
I'm going to assume that you probably have never heard of these really interesting people. This is Lucia Zarate, who was the lightest adult person in history. She weighed 4.7 pounds. There was a man who graduated the same high school in Scotland twice. The first time was in 1980, and the second time was in 1994 after he re-enrolled under a fake name in order to get a second shot at medical school, which he had until a newspaper exposed him 1 year into his new career in high school. There was a firefighter named Donald who fell into a coma for 9 years after a firefighting incident. About a year into this 9-year coma, he had woken up briefly but couldn't recognize any of his family or friends. And when he woke up from the 9 years, the first question was about his wife. This man had his son kidnapped in 1997, and he spent the next 24 years searching all across China. He rode on his motorcycle over 500,000 kilometers and used up all of his life savings. They were finally reunited in 2021, and his journey through all of this ended up helping the authorities find over 100 other missing children. I'm Dorian. Follow to learn more tomorrow.
Love this stuff. Proper pub quiz gold.
Fun fact. For the last 20 years, Chinese government censors have decided what can and cannot be shown in Hollywood movies, which made Coco a surprise hit for Pixar. Hollywood studios would be dead without Chinese box office sales, but due to China's strict censorship laws, many studios have hired Chinese censorship consultants who work with the studios during the scripting phase and throughout production to ensure the film will be approved by the Chinese censorship board. For example, in World War Z, the outbreak was switched to South Korea, not China like in the book. In Age of Extinction, Beijing saves Hong Kong, not the US, and in the Chinese release of Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury never comes out as being gay or having AIDS. So when Pixar decided to make Coco, they accepted in pre-production that the film wouldn't be approved for release in China since it includes ghosts and spiritual beings, which are clearly labeled in the Chinese film rules as a no-no, so they just focused on making the best movie possible. But Disney figured, why not give it a shot? And they submitted the film to the Chinese censorship board, and to their surprise, it was approved. Coco would go on to become a juggernaut in China, making more money than every other Pixar movie released in the country combined, and would win the hearts of the Chinese people due to the cultural similarities they shared with the film, like respecting elders, honoring ancestors, a strong duty to family, and a once-a-year celebration of the dead, which in China is known as Tomb Sweeping Day.
Notice how it is always China that gets the blame when this comes up. Every government leans on the films you watch, ours very much included.
Have you seen the city in Russia, the abandoned
island city where the polar bears have taken over?
No.
Oh, you got to see this. It's incredible.
I've seen videos of Russia of people like getting chased by polar bears in their town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's like the one where the guy jumps on the snowmobile and it like runs after him and
barely gets away.
There's a whole area in the Bering Sea that was, I want to say, a former mining town or maybe fishing town, and people moved out because it collapsed for whatever reason. This place, look at this. And the polar bears have just moved into town.
Oh, they're living in the house.
They're living in the house. Look at this. There's just
they took it over as a den.
Completely took it over.
Wow.
How cool is this?
The place empties out and the wildlife moves into the front rooms like they had been waiting on the lease all along. I find that oddly comforting, which is rather the point. We are far more replaceable than we like to think.
The internet is saying that Elon Musk should go to prison for this. That was a simulation of the SpaceX rocket that crashed into the moon earlier this month, leaving a brand new crater that is about 90 feet across and 12 feet deep. Back in January of 2025, SpaceX launched 2 private lunar landers aboard a Falcon 9. After delivering them, the rocket's roughly 4-ton upper stage was left in an uncontrolled orbit with no way to steer itself. Then over the course of 18 months, the gravity from the Earth, Moon, and Sun slowly altered its trajectory until astronomers realized it was on a collision course. The massive rocket slammed into the lunar surface at roughly 5,400 miles per hour, and because the moon has virtually no atmosphere, there was nothing to slow it down. Now, South Korea's Dannery spacecraft has photographed the impact site, revealing the brand new crater. And while Elon is definitely not going to prison for this, it is a growing reminder of the space debris problem.
And what happens when we have a big enough impact from another collision course that knocks the moon out of orbit or does some real damage, causing debris to come headed towards Earth? What then?
This is a prime example of the importance of what we are opening doors to in our life. We could be singing songs on the radio, and then the video comes out, and it's like, that has nothing to do with this song that I have been singing.
You see this video that we just watched, not the part about Katy Perry, but the person talking about Katy Perry and connecting dots. That's quite simply are not even there. That's why they do this. That is the best example and as plainly as I can put it.
New guidance requires radiographers to ask whether men aged 12 to 55 could be pregnant.
Exact sort of thing that ties everyone in knots. The medical bit is dead simple. You ask everyone the same question so nobody slips through. You tick the box, you move on. Both sides hold half a point here, which is usually the way of it, so why not just word it a little better? That's the real story behind this one. It's divisive for a very, very specific reason.
He's been letting snakes bite him for years, trying to get superpowers, and he might have just solved a problem scientists have struggled with for centuries. Tim Fried was bitten by 2 pet cobras in 2001, putting him in a 4-day coma. He barely survived, but it sparked a question. Could I build immunity if they bite me enough times? He started microdosing deadly venom and documenting it on YouTube. His wife gave him an ultimatum. Stop this madness or I'm gone. So with no wife and a lot more room, he filled his entire house with 60 species of snakes, moved into a tent, and kept the experiment going. After 650 injections, he graduated to taking full-on bites from the deadliest snakes on Earth. An immunologist saw the videos and asked him for some of his blood. It turns out Tim's crazy experiment could create the world's first universal antivenom, saving hundreds of thousands of lives a year and billions of dollars, because his antibodies work against almost any snake on the planet. A single snake bite treatment in the US costs up to $300,000. But thanks to one guy who said adios to his wife and slept in a tent, that could change.
Fair play to this guy. He let cobras have a go at him for 20 odd years and might have cracked antivenom entirely, which is mad to say out loud, right? But how is it that he lost the wife and kept the snakes, moved himself into a tent, and I'm still on his side? What a weird world we live in.
Cymatic plates give the ability to visualize sound and frequency. Every frequency has its own geometric pattern. Frequency, energy, and vibration is what molds the physical world around us. The ancients had a deep understanding of this and reflected geometry within their building. Churches were never a thing. These buildings were not used for worship, instead used for healing with frequency and sound. because your body is 80% water. The frequency produced by the organs within these cathedrals would heal the people in the building. They were called organs because they healed your organs. Every word that you speak in here, every thought that you think, and every emotion that you feel is a cymatic frequency, either benefiting you or destroying you. There was a period of time where all of the ancient healing bells were taken and destroyed. We need to rebel and rebel the buildings with these healing frequencies. Not long after this, they changed the standard music tune into A440 Hz, which is hurtful to the brain and our cells.
I'll take the cymatics. I always love cymatics.
I think you're AI, bro. This is bullshit. This is an AI.
I know a lot of people were excited to apply to this job, so this might disappoint some people, but you can't. It's a closed role. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this video shows a man yelling into a megaphone stating that he thinks this person is fake. The camera pans up and we can see a guy literally living inside of this billboard in this fake room. Now, this is something you might have seen on social media over the past few days. This took place between the 6th of August through the 8th. Netflix, to promote their new thriller, The Last House, decided to take things up a notch when it came to their marketing. They built out this very unique billboard and had an actor live in it for 3 days. The actor was given a whiteboard so he could communicate with people on the ground, and the phrase here, "How long can you survive?" is very clear to see. Because of this phrase, a lot of people thought this was some sort of challenge, and they were wanting to apply to it because they could just doom scroll TikTok, chill out all day and get paid. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. It was just a short-time promotion. As far as I can tell, though, the actor in the billboard was very real, so I don't think that he was AI.
Turns out the man living inside a Netflix billboard was just a streamer who needed a talking point. That is the most common story we have in this modern age now, isn't it? As for the applications for job openings, people really need to reevaluate what they are doing with their free will.
This is the biggest change in our world since electricity, and either you work for AI or AI works for you. What do I mean by those two things? There were companies and workers in 1890 who said, I'll wait for electricity to go away. I'm just going to keep being a blacksmith or whatever it is. That did not work out very well. This is like that, but much, much faster. And then the AI thing is, if you work for an AI, it's not going to treat you very well. It's not going to be secure, and it's not going to make you happy. Bosses are going to keep pushing the AI to do all the good parts and you to be a gig worker for all the parts that the AI can't do yet. But if AI works for you, then you say, well, I have 1,000 college interns who work for me for $20 a month. I can't trust them on anything, but over time, I can give them small projects that will provoke me to do more stuff. We're going to rewire the way almost every single industry works. If you can say, I use AI to connect humans, I use AI to build a network of people, we don't know how to replace networks of people. And AI is never going to be able to replace networks of people. If you are trusted and connecting and leading, using whatever AI tools you want, you're never going to have trouble making a living. If I have these tools, how do I use them not to be a junior, smaller version of OpenAI, but use them the same way that the movie theater used electricity? The electric company brought electricity to lots of businesses, but it took a movie theater to figure out how to get you to pay $5 to see the movie.
And to close it out, a chap in yellow glasses reckons you either boss the AI about or it quietly bosses you, which is fair enough as far as it goes, but that is us done for today. We went down the rabbit hole not to find the bottom, but to find the thread which resides in amongst all the noise and the static, and to extract it and practice our discernment along the way, and I think we did an excellent job of that. If you enjoyed the episode, let me know what you enjoyed. Drop a like on the video, tell me what you want to see more of, tell me what you want to see less of. If you're new and you made it to this point, congratulations. I really appreciate you, and I recommend you hit sub. I hope I earned it. If you do, make sure you turn on that notification bell, because I do this every single day. And the most important thing that you can all do for me is stay safe, stay well, and stay curious. Until next time.